Before we begin, I need to set up a couple of things for you to keep in mind. A. Damon Gant / Miles Strongheart. I must put it this way, short and sweet, to avoid spoilers. B. I want you to keep in mind that this game duology does not read or come across as a traditional based attorney game. It comes off as more of a steampunk British detective novel that has based attorney elements. There are just some elements that seem more akin to the Professor Layton crossover than based attorney. See, drink every time I say based or based, preferably, non-lethal drinks. So, let's begin, my learned friends. For a majority of the trials, we have this old British judge that for some weird, god-awful reason, I read his lines in my head with an Ian McClellan or Patrick Stewart voice. Completely unintentional, made every moment funnier. I guess it's because it sounds like Dumbledore from Harry Potter? You know, the whole, great good lord, that sort of thing. Of note, there are 2 cases in Japan's Supreme Court. Notably though, they're both tutorial cases. And there's a British case with a certain finale that is so grandiose yet utterly terrifying that it makes Damon Gant's breakdown seem like a child fit in comparison. This game's villain is what happens when you give Damon Gant power in the highest office imaginable. Give him even more shrewdness and backstabbing. Give him more time and even have the power to manipulate entire countries to his will. Anyways, enough of that though, because going further would spoil the experience. And an experience it was. This is a game that will remain in my mind for a long time. This is the pinnacle of based attorney games in the entire franchise. The characters, the setting, oh my god, the setting. This game is the love child of based attorney and the Sherlock Holmes novels. It has powerful personalities with backstories and subplots that get more harebrained yet consistent, that it builds up to an ultimately satisfying conclusion. The soundtrack is my favorite of that franchise, but it's not in the punchy and bombastic form as the based original Attorney trilogy. That's the OG trilogy's best aspect, punching pacing. Whereas based Attorney Chronicles is slow, methodical, and calculated. However, its best 2 contributions are mechanical. The jury system, the dance of deduction. Remember how I said it reads off like a Sherlock Holmes novel rather than a traditional based attorney trilogy game? I meant that in any and every sense imaginable. Literal, metaphorical, tangential, and analogous. And the second feature of that is dance of deduction. The particularly interesting thing is that this game subverts an expectation people have of Sherlock. Instead of being the classy, methodical, and rational person, he's instead eccentric, hyperactive, bipolar, unstable, and varied in emotions to sheer extremes. He's kind of like Jon Moxley from AEW for, where are my pro wrestling fans at, right? Another subversion is in the mechanics itself, since Sherlock's deductions are often some fashion, and the mechanics is where we course correct his deduction. Usually, the corrections convey Sherlock as a close but no cigar sort of detective, as usually the correct clue is close by. He's literally using the formula of shoot fish in a barrel plus overcompensate when the real answer is shown equals brilliant deduction. The broship dynamic between Naruhodo, by the way, I love that the Chronicles takes some of the Japanese names from the anime and puts them as the characters for this game. And Sherlock Holmes is the ultimate form of broship again, and it's just fun. Here's the thing. My definition of fun is often a bit oxymoronic and maybe even idiosyncratic. Ridiculously silly, yet ultimately clever. If you want my sense of silly humor in a nutshell, the dance of deduction is a perfect encapsulation, as these two are just having the time of their lives, just fucking around, and sometimes even fucking up cases. It's the perfect balance of silly and clever. This is what I mean about silliness and not insulting the intelligence of the audience. It's not Neptunian victories, can we milk you, Nepi-chan, or the infamous, he reaped and sowed his own seed. No, this masterclass balance of humor and wit is what I love in my life. I'm not a man with a heart of hollow stone. I have things I love that are silly, and it's all about presentation. The entire Based Attorney Chronicles is a series that rewards your long-term and short-term investment in the duology. It has a much higher quality of life as a baseline compared to the Based Attorney trilogy, which is organic. It's kind of what happens. Consistent in quality where the OG trilogy had wild ups and downs, with tracks more in line in the OG trilogy, and actually, now that I think about it, with the duology as well, more in line with, with ambiance. Hell, I even empathize with the main villain of the duology. I get that cutthroat mentality of his. We all have hopes and dreams of the future, and it takes a lot of willpower to not be corrupted by it. This game is a 10 out of 10. In my honest opinion, it surpassed the iconic OG trilogy. Not even Strongheart had a strong heart. yeah. I'll show myself out for that one. Thank you all for watching this review. This was a fun time for me to play. I heavily encourage you, if you are a fan, or even if you're a newbie, to try this game out. I care not whether Steam, PS4, or wherever else it may appear. This is a must-buy for any fan, and a solid buy for anyone new but curious. You know the drill about the socials. Just remember, ladies and gentlemen, that my will is absolute.